Hello everyone. Today I'd like to talk about this rare Citizen is model 4150. I say rare because I don't think this watch got imported in the States. Actually, I bought it in one of the Arabian countries, and I think the days actually are in Arabic also. So it was exported to Arabian countries, and you can actually possibly buy it in UAE and Saudi and other places as well. This watch is has sapphire glass. It has see-through back, and it has day and date. And also it's automatic. It's 21 joules. It's kind of heavy, stainless steel. And if I get close to it, you can see it's very nice. The dial is in this particular one is gray, and you can see the second hand moving. I purchased this watch maybe 9 or 10 years ago, and Seiko, I believe it doesn't make it anymore. On the surface, this is equal to any Swiss watch. I mean, feature wise, the sapphire glass, automatic, and day and dates, see-through back, and it's very heavy comparing to other watches I have, and you can see the movement in the back. The nice thing about this watch is that it's made in Japan. This is not just Japanese movement assembled in China. Most Citizens and Seikos that all over the world people buy and wear, they're basically made in Japan. I mean, the parts are made in Japan, but it's assembled in China. But this particular one, I don't know if I can show it to you because it's hard to see. But on the back it clearly says made in Japan, and it says the model 4150 inside. So it says 4150 caliber. Now, the reason I'm showing you this watch is that, well, basically I don't wear this, I wear my Orient. My collection of watches are mostly made in Japan. There, as I said before, there's maybe 2 or 3 of them are actually Swiss made, but they're lesser known brands. Many years ago, I think in 2005, I was looking at a Rolex, and it was gold and stainless steel. I think it was, I don't know if you call it Submariners, or, but at any case, I think it's 300 meters. They still make it, but back in 2005, I almost bought one at a mall in the States, and when I was looking at it and wore it, I really liked it. The price was $6,400. $6,400. And well, of course, my Citizen watch is 100 meters. That one was or is 300 meters waterproof and or water resistant. At any case, this particular watch nowadays is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, $12,000 or $13,000. So in a matter of 15 years, the same watch has gone up to twice as much. Now, part of it is the inflation rate, and the other part is just the name. Of course, I'm not saying this is as far as craftsmanship and the finish touches that Rolex has. This is not, of course, Rolex. But when you wear it, it feels really good on your wrist. It's a kind of a big watch. I don't know if it's 40 millimeter. I didn't look into that one. I'm not a watchmaker. I don't repair watches. I just collect them. At any case, I think this is, on the surface at least, is as good as any Rolex. The Rolex watches out there. The other problem that Rolex watches have, and when I was trying to buy it and I was ready to shell maybe $6,000-7,000 for it back in 2005, shell out that much, is that the seller told me that every 3 years or every few years this Rolex needs to be basically maintained. They have to clean it and so on. So the maintenance itself back then was quoted as let's see, 300, a few $100s. So needless to say that Swiss watches are for the rich. If you have a lot of money to spare and you want this status, I guess, symbol, then you wear a Swiss watch, and either as a show off or as someone who likes the craftsmanship and takes pride in that. But otherwise, I think for most of you out there, if you can find a Citizen or a Seiko, and there are some that are made in Japan, you may not find them as much in the US. I was trying to find a video on this watch, this 4150, on YouTube, and I couldn't. I kept looking, I couldn't. Then I was reading on another site, not the YouTube, that this watch was never imported in the US, unfortunately. As you can see, it has a pattern on the dial. You see the minute marks, and it looks good in the dark. Very nice. It's a very nice watch. I haven't worn it that much, but there are some, I guess, some scratches here and there. The band, very nice, as you can see, and this is how you close it. I think comes from here and then comes from here, and this is how it looks. In any case, I highly recommend it to you guys to buy a, if you can find made in Japan. And this, I would say, this is the higher end of Citizen. Of course, Citizens has really expensive watches. You don't see them. The first time I saw this was, I was in, I think, traveling in Europe, and I saw a Seiko at a very expensive watch. I mean, a very expensive shop, and I looked at it and I said, "How much is this Seiko?" The guy said it's $25,000. I said, "Is this really a Seiko?" He said, "Yes." Of course, it was solid gold. I had never seen a solid gold Seiko ever till I think maybe 15 years ago. And so there are watches that the Seiko and Citizens make, and I think Citizen is making a new one that is kind of the technology is quartz, but the precision is 1 plus a negative 1 second in each year, and the price on, I think, stainless or titanium, I'm not quite sure, is over $7,000, and then they also make it in white gold, which is $17,000 or $18,000. That basically is out of reach of many people, including myself. You'll be happy with a Citizen. Again, on the surface, and these are the features: 100-meter waterproof, see-through back, 21 jewels, sapphire glass, and it's very, very, very reliable. I have some Seikos that are running for years and years, and basically I never maintained them. I never had them cleaned. I mean, in most people's lives, 1 minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes, even a day, it really amounts to nothing. You know, people waste or spend so much time just watching TV and doing really trivial things in their lives. So just to have a watch that you pay $30,000, $40,000 because it's so accurate, for most of us is kind of meaningless. As long as it keeps the accurate time within a few seconds, I think that's good enough for 99.99% of the people. If you have any comment, I'd like to hear that. I'll try to make more programs on the watches that I have. I travel a lot, and I don't have all my watches with me. The few that I have, I will talk about it here. And also I have a Seiko that is, let's see, what do they call that? It doesn't need a battery. It has a battery, but the battery gets charged by the movement of the watch. But unfortunately, the battery didn't last more than 2 or 3 years or 4 years. I don't know. I thought you'd you don't need to replace it, but you need to replace it. And the problem with these batteries is that they're quite a bit expensive. A regular quartz battery is very cheap, especially in other countries. You can pick up a Chinese battery that lasts for at least a year or two, very cheap. But this particular battery for a Seiko, it has to be basically a special battery that is chargeable. I will make another program on that one. Then I also have a Seiko that is quartz and is chronograph. I think it's 100 meter and has a date. I think date and day. That many years ago, the retail for it, almost over 20 years ago, was close to 200, no, $400. And I think I bought it at Montgomery Ward when it was going out of business, so it was half off. This is of course many years ago, and I think I paid $200 for it, and it still works. I just changed the battery recently. I'll try to make another program on that one also. Anyway, having said that, I hope you enjoyed it. As I said, I'm not a watchmaker, I'm not an expert, I'm just doing this for fun. Have a great day. Thank you.